child of the Most High. Do you know the secret power that rests on your tongue? Do you understand that the word you speak is the key that opens vaults or seals them shut? Death and life are in the power of the tongue, said the ancient proverb, and the moment you speak, you write the decree of your destiny. You are not a beggar before a reluctant God. You are heir to an infinite treasury, joint heir with Christ, the Beloved, in whom all the riches of divine substance flow without measure. Yet many walk with empty pockets, not because heaven is empty, but because their words have chained the gates. You say, I am broke, and your words take form in the unseen, building the very prison you fear. You declare, I can't afford, and the angels of supply, hearing only your decree, bow in obedience to your own limitation. But when you say with the unshakable boldness of faith, I have abundance, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, and it manifests now, the law of the word rushes into action. Divine substance, invisible yet more real than gold, takes shape, and your vault begins to overflow. The word you speak is the wand in your hand, the scepter of your dominion, the command that moves the machinery of heaven. Thomas Edison saw light in the darkness before the filament ever glowed. Andrew Carnegie built empires because he spoke in the language of vision and faith, not fear and failure. Even Walt Disney, mocked and bankrupt, walked the streets declaring his dream until the unseen became the magic kingdom. So I ask you now, what decree will you write upon your life today? Will you bind yourself with the rope of fear, or loose yourself into the wide fields of abundance? Will you keep rehearsing lack, or will you speak wealth into the very atoms of your reality? The vault is not locked, it is voice-activated, and heaven is leaning forward to hear your command. If you are ready to turn your empty wallet into an overflowing vault by the authority of your spoken word, stay with me. Let these next hours be the divine transaction that rewrites your destiny. And when the truth strikes your spirit like lightning, speak it, share it, and pass it on. Subscribe now, like this message, and declare with me, this is my hour of overflow. The universe is not moved by your need. It is moved by your word. Countless souls cry out, God help me, I am desperate, and yet nothing changes, for their cry is not the language of faith, but the song of fear. The law of the word demands that you speak as though the thing you seek is already yours. When ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them, not will receive, not might receive, but receive now. The unseen world waits for no clock. The divine substance moves in the eternal now. Your word must be forged in the furnace of conviction and released with the authority of a king giving orders to his domain. When a monarch issues a decree, he does not look to see if the treasury can afford it. He knows the treasury exists to fulfill the decree. In the same way, your words are not to be measured by what you see in your bank account, but by the inexhaustible vault of God's abundance. The law of the spoken word operates above time, above space, above circumstance. You may be standing in a cold, bare room with an empty wallet, but if your word says, I dwell in the house of plenty, the angels of supply begin to build that house in the unseen, brick by brick, until it appears in the seen. Look at the men and women who have altered the course of history. Not because of their titles, not because of their possessions, but because of their word. Thomas Troward declared that thought is the seed of all creation, and his students, armed with this truth, changed industries, governments, and nations. Prentice Mulford walked the streets of New York penniless, yet he spoke wealth until the vibration of his words drew it to him. Florence Nightingale, before she revolutionized nursing, said, I shall not be stopped. She was speaking into the invisible, commanding every cell of her destiny to align. Your word is not idle sound, it is a spiritual contract. Eve. Right time you speak, you are signing your name to a reality. When you say, I never have enough money, you sign the contract of lack, and the universe delivers accordingly. When you say, everything I touch prospers and succeeds, you sign the contract of abundance, and the law of the word ensures that prosperity seeks you out. By thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. This is not metaphor. It is divine law. The mind is the workshop, but the tongue is the foreman. The mind may dream, but the tongue gives the command to build. A dream locked in thought is like a seed kept in a jar, safe but sterile. Only when planted in the soil of spoken decree does it draw to itself the elements needed for life. The wealth you desire is already present in substance, unseen, yes, but not absent. Faith is the hand that reaches into the invisible and draws it into form, and the spoken word is the hand in motion. I tell you this, stop rehearsing your failures in conversation. Every time you retell the story of loss, you breathe life into it again. Do not say, my business failed. Say, That chapter prepared me for my present and future success. Do not say, I can't afford that. Say, I choose to direct my resources toward that which multiplies my abundance. Words shift the atmosphere of your life as surely as wind shifts the course of a sailboat. Change the wind, and the vessel changes direction. Consider Edison, who did not say, I have failed 10,000 times, but I have found 10,000 ways that do not work. His word aligned him with discovery rather than defeat. Andrew Carnegie spoke daily of the opportunities yet unseen, and they rose up to meet him. Walt Disney declared, it's kind of fun to do the impossible, while his creditors mocked him, yet his word proved greater than their doubt. Child of God, when you speak, speak from the mountaintop, not the valley. Speak from the place where your vision is already fulfilled. Let the weak say, I am strong. Why? Because the moment you say it, you align with the strength of the Almighty. The moment you declare wealth, you become a tuning fork for the frequency of wealth, and the vibration must bring its equal into manifestation. If you desire a different life, you must begin with a different language. Speak as the heir, not as the orphan. Declare as the king, not as the beggar. Affirm with the certainty of the farmer who plants seed, knowing the harvest must come. Say, my supply is endless, inexhaustible, and immediate. Say, money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways, and I am ready to receive. Say, everything I seek is seeking me, and I meet it now under grace and in perfect ways. The world will call it foolish. They will say, be realistic, but realism without faith is simply conformity to the visible, and the visible is only the residue of yesterday's words. You are not called to bow to yesterday. You are called to command tomorrow. Faith speaks in the present tense of what is yet unseen, and the universe rearranges itself to agree. Do not confuse the law of the word with mere positive thinking. Positive thinking is a human attempt to adjust attitude. The spoken word is the spiritual act of creation. God spoke, let there be light, and light was. You, made in His image and likeness, have inherited the same creative authority in your own realm. Your life is your kingdom, and your word is your royal edict. Even now, as you hear these words, your subconscious is being imprinted. Every statement is either carving a path toward wealth or digging a ditch toward lack. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot speak wealth in the morning and complain of poverty by night and expect abundance to come. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, and instability produces delay. If you would turn your empty wallet into an overflowing vault within 24 hours, your first act must be the cleansing of your tongue. Fast from complaint as you would from food. Abstain from words of fear as you would from poison. Speak nothing you do not desire to see manifest. Let your lips become the altar of your faith, where every sacrifice is praise and every declaration is victory. The wealthy soul speaks wealth before it appears. The healed soul speaks healing while symptoms still shout their lies. The free soul speaks freedom while chains still rattle. This is not denial, it is declaration. Denial says, it isn't there. Declaration says, it is here now, in substance, and soon in sight. The moment you declare it with unwavering faith, the law of the word begins moving heaven and earth to make it so. Say with me now, not as repetition, but as revelation, I am a channel for divine supply. Money comes to me richly and freely. Every bill is paid before it arrives. Opportunities flow to me like rivers to the sea. I am in tune with the infinite wealth of God, and I receive now. The hour of your increase has already begun. Speak, and keep speaking, until the walls of lack fall flat. Let the vaults of heaven hear your voice, and as you speak, expect, for the expectation of the righteous shall not be cut off. Now, if you have felt this truth stir in you like fire in your bones, let your agreement be known. Subscribe, share, and declare aloud. My vault is opening now, and I am ready to receive. Faith is the substance. Faith is the invisible currency of heaven. Without it, you are as a ship without a sail, drifting in circles. With it, you become unstoppable, for all things are possible to him that believeth. The word you speak is the command, but faith is the gene that drives it into manifestation. Words without faith are like arrows without a bow. They fall short of the mark. But faith without words is like fire locked in a stone. It burns with potential but gives no light, no warmth, no change. The two must unite. Faith is not mere hope. Hope is the candle waiting for a match. Faith is the flame itself. Faith does not ask, will it happen? Faith declares, it is happening now. Faith is not swayed by the balance in the bank or the opinion of man. Faith is not moved by the delay or the dark. Faith lives in the eternal now, where the promise is already complete. Look at Abraham, called the father of faith. God told him, "A father of many nations have I made thee." Have I made, not will I make. God spoke in the past tense of a future reality, because in the mind of God, it was already done. Abraham believed, though his body was as good as dead, and Sarah's womb barren. He staggered not at the promise of God through unbelief, but was strong in faith, giving glory to God. His faith pulled the unseen into the seen, the promise into the present. Faith is not passive, it is aggressive in its rest. It is the lion lying in the grass, knowing the prey is already within reach. It is Daniel in the lion's den, whose faith was greater than the growl of the beast. It is the woman with the issue of blood, who pressed through the crowd saying, "If I may but touch his garment, I shall be whole." She spoke, she moved, she touched, and her faith made her whole. In the realm of wealth, faith functions the same way. You must see the vault overflowing before you hear the clink of the first coin. You must feel the freedom of debt paid before the check arrives. You must walk into the store with the consciousness of purchase, even if your purse is light, for it is the consciousness that attracts the provision. Napoleon Hill, who interviewed hundreds of the world's wealthiest men, found one truth common among them all: they believed in their success long before the evidence appeared. Carnegie believed when the steel industry was still young and uncertain. Henry Ford believed when his first cars looked like toys compared to the horses they sought to replace. Walt Disney believed when the banks refused him, calling his vision impossible. Faith is the key that opens the door others call locked. And hear me now, faith is not blind. Faith sees with the eyes of spirit. Faith sees beyond the ledger into the limitless supply of God. Faith sees the banquet table set while the servants are still in the kitchen. Faith hears the music of victory while the battle is still raging. Faith feels the gold in the hand while the mine is still in darkness. When you speak the word in faith, the universe responds like iron to a magnet. The law is mechanical in its obedience to faith. "According to your faith be it unto you," said the Master. Not according to your labor, not according to your education, not according to your contacts or credentials, but according to your faith. The one who walks by sight says, "I will believe when I see it." The one who walks by faith says, "I will see it because I believe." The sight walker waits for the evidence. The faith walker creates the evidence. This is why two people can speak the same words and receive different results. One speaks from fear, the other from faith. Heaven hears the tone, not just the syllables. I tell you, train your faith as you would train a muscle. Begin with the small things and the great things will come easily. Speak in faith over your daily bread, over the coins in your pocket, over the clothes on your back. Bless them, thank God for them, see them multiplying. Do not despise the day of small beginnings, for faith that is faithful in little will be ruler over much. The world says, seeing is believing. The kingdom says, believing is seeing. Faith is the currency, and your belief writes the check. Every act of faith is an investment into your future harvest. Every declaration in faith is a seed sown in the soil of the unseen, and when the harvest comes, it comes pressed down, shaken together, and running over, often from sources you did not expect. I have known those who have spoken wealth without faith, and their results were fleeting, like mist in the morning sun. But those who spoke with faith saw results that lasted, for their words were rooted in the unshakable ground of divine law. Faith is the assurance that your vault is already full, and your speech is simply the acknowledgement of that fact. Even the great inventors, though they may not have spoken in the language of Scripture, operated in the principle of faith. Edison did not see darkness, he saw light. The Wright brothers did not see gravity as an enemy, they saw flight as inevitable. Faith is the refusal to be governed by what the senses dictate. Faith listens to a higher report, the report of the Lord. Child of God, you must feed your faith and starve your fear. You feed faith by hearing the word of truth, by meditating on it, by speaking it until it saturates your consciousness. You starve fear by refusing to speak its language, by denying it the attention it craves. Fear is faith in reverse. It is belief in the power of evil rather than good. The same energy that fuels fear can be turned to fuel faith when your attention shifts. Now I say to you, live as if the vault is already overflowing. Act as if the supply is already here. Conduct yourself as the wealthy do, not in vanity or waste, but in the consciousness of abundance. When you walk into a room, carry yourself as one who belongs. When you handle money, handle it with respect, gratitude, and wisdom. No matter how small the sum, for to him who hath, more shall be given. But from him who hath not, even that which he hath shall be taken away. Faith will make you magnetic. Opportunities will begin to seek you out, drawn by the vibration of your belief. People will say, you are lucky, but you will know it is not luck, it is law. You are operating in the divine mechanics of faith and the word, and the results must follow. Say even now, I believe, I receive, I have it now. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Feel it in your bones, see it in your mind, speak it from your lips. This is not fantasy, this is the highest realism, for the spiritual is the cause of the material, and when the cause is in place, the effect must appear. You may say, but Florence, I have tried and it did not work. I tell you, you did not believe enough to hold the vision until it was born. A seed planted today does not bear fruit tomorrow. Faith waits without wavering, knowing the unseen process is underway. The farmer does not dig up his seed to see if it is growing. He waters it, trusts the soil, and looks for the sprout in due time. Faith holds the picture steady when the winds of circumstance try to blur it. You may walk through days when the outer world screams contradiction to your inner decree, but the one anchored in faith smiles at the storm. For what is a storm to the one who knows the sun has already risen beyond the clouds? The appearance of lack is a cloud. Your faith is the sunlight breaking through. Clouds may pass across your vision, but they cannot extinguish the sun. Think of the sculptor. He sees the finished form within the marble before his chisel strikes the stone. Each blow is guided by the inner picture, not by the rough surface before him. If he judged by appearances, he would never begin. Likewise, faith sees the finished wealth, the complete healing, the fulfill-led dream before a single outward change appears. And each word you speak is a stroke of the chisel, removing what is not aligned with your vision. When Peter stepped out of the boat onto the water, his feet were held up not by the water itself, but by the word of the Master and the faith that answered it. When he looked at the wind and waves, fear rushed in, and he began to sink. Fear is the leak in the boat of faith. Plug it at once with the words of truth, or you will find yourself floundering. The enemy of faith is not the storm, it is doubt, born of divided attention. Do you know why children often receive so quickly when they pray? It is because their faith has not yet been trained to bow to the tyranny of appearances. They speak, they believe, and they expect, without consulting the evidence. A child prays for rain and runs to fetch an umbrella. That is the posture of the faithful soul. Your faith must be childlike in its purity and kingly in its authority. It must refuse the counsel of the senses when the senses contradict the promise. When the ledger says empty, faith says full. When the doctor's report says incurable, faith says healed. When the news says recession, faith says divine provision. The language of faith is absolute. It does not hedge its bets. It says, I am, not I will be. It says, it is done, not it might be. Do you recall the words of Jesus to the fig tree? He said, no man eat fruit of thee hereafter forever. The next morning, Peter was astonished to see the tree withered from the roots, but the withering had begun the moment the word was spoken. It simply took time for the invisible change to become visible. Faith understands this delay, and does not mistake it for denial. Let us speak now of the vault, the one you long to see overflowing. In truth, in spirit, it is already overflowing. Your faith is not creating wealth. It is revealing wealth. It is opening the curtain that hides the banquet. The vault exists in divine substance, in the unseen storehouse, awaiting the match of your belief. Faith is the master key, and the spoken word is the hand that turns it. Andrew Carnegie did not begin with steel. He began with faith in his ability to create wealth where others saw only scarcity. His belief magnetized opportunities, resources, and people to him. Faith is magnetic because it is aligned with the creative nature of God. God is the creator. Faith is the agreement with his nature. When you walk in faith, you walk in step with the divine, and creation happens through you. Let us make this practical. Begin to act now as if the thing you desire is already yours. If you are believing for wealth, stop speaking as one who lacks. Stop choosing the cheapest out of fear. Choose with wisdom, not with panic. Hold your head high. Smile as if your heart overflows. When you write a check, bless it and declare it returns to you multiplied. When you receive money, no matter the amount, give thanks as if you have received a king's ransom. Faith is not a someday feeling. It is a now choice. You choose to believe. You choose to act. You choose to speak. You may say, but my feelings betray me. Then speak until your feelings fall in line. The tongue can lead the heart, just as a rudder leads a ship. Say, I believe, I receive, I have it now, until every cell in your body vibrates with the truth. Faith is like a muscle. It grows by use. Start with small declarations you can stand upon, and then stretch to greater ones. Believe for daily bread until your heart is secure in God's provision, then believe for the banquet hall. Believe for the rent, then believe for the mansion. Each victory strengthens your spiritual stature until no mountain intimidates you. The prophets of old did not shrink before their visions. Elijah spoke of rain before a cloud appeared. He sent his servant to look 7 times, and only on the 7th did a small cloud rise from the sea. Yet Elijah ran to prepare for the downpour. That is faith. It prepares in advance. It lays the table before the guests arrive. It builds the ark before the flood. And here is the mystery. Faith cannot fail when it is pure. It may be tested, it may be stretched, it may endure the dark night, but it cannot fail, for it is not rooted in man's ability, but in God's nature. God cannot lie, and his law cannot break. If the promise is given, the manifestation is certain. Faith simply holds the door open until it walks in. Say to yourself daily, I live by faith, not by sight. My vault is full, my table is spread, my life is rich in every good thing. See it, feel it, speak it, act as if it were already visible. And as you do, the law of the word and the power of faith will work together like sun and seed, bringing forth the harvest in due time. And when it comes, as surely it will, do not forget to give thanks. For gratitude is the seal that secures the blessing and multiplies it. Let your faith and your thanks be as constant as your breath, and you will never lack for good. Faith is not timid. Faith does not whisper into the void hoping for a reply. It speaks as one whose voice is backed by the throne of heaven. When David stood before Goliath, he did not say, I hope the Lord will deliver you into my hand. He declared, This day will the Lord deliver thee into mine hand, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel. That is the language of faith, bold, present, and absolute. The stone had not yet flown, but the victory was already spoken. When you rise in the morning, rise as if you have already stepped into your abundance. Dress as if you are meeting the opportunity of a lifetime. Conduct yourself as if every person you encounter is a divine appointment. This is not pretense. It is prophetic action. It is aligning the outer man with the reality of the inner vision. Faith knows that delays are not denials. Many give up just before the manifestation would have arrived. They grow weary in well-doing, forgetting that, to the harvest comes to those who do not faint. The seed may be under the soil, unseen, but it is germinating. It is breaking open. It is reaching for the light. Your faith waters it with every declaration, every act of gratitude, every refusal to speak against your desire. I have seen the principle work in ways that defy human reasoning. I have known a woman who, with only a few coins to her name, set her table for a feast and prayed in faith. That very day, an unexpected visitor brought her baskets of food. I have known a man who, with no business prospects, continued to speak daily, I have more clients than I can serve, and within weeks he was turning work away. In both cases, the outer followed the inner, and the inner was shaped by faith-filled words. You must train your eyes to see beyond appearances. Faith lives in 2 realms. It walks the earth but sees the heavens. It does not deny the existence of the mountain. It simply declares that the mountain will move. And the mountain moves not because of the size of your shovel, but because of the power of your word spoken in faith. Every person who has achieved greatness has walked this road. They may not have called it faith in the biblical sense, but they lived by its law. Orison Swett Marden wrote of the victory habit, the inner conviction that success is inevitable. Christian D. Larson spoke of the hidden power that comes from unwavering belief. Swami Vivekananda urged his students to believe in yourselves with the certainty of the sunrise. And Gurdjieff, though coming from a different tradition, understood that reality bends to the strength of one's inner state. Faith is the unwavering stand that says, though the fig tree shall not blossom, neither shall fruit be in the vines, yet I will rejoice in the Lord, I will joy in the God of my salvation. Why rejoice? Because faith knows the harvest is seeking. Even if the field looks bare today. Let your faith be vocal. Silent faith may sustain you inwardly, but spoken faith sends out the command. Say aloud in the morning, this is a day of divine increase. Say aloud when a bill arrives, this is easily paid. I am abundantly supplied. Say aloud when an opportunity comes, this is the open door I have called for. The spoken word, backed by faith, is irresistible. Now hear this, your faith must be fed daily. You cannot live on yesterday's bread. Spend time each day in the atmosphere of truth. Read the scriptures. Read the writings of those who walked in abundance. Listen to words that stir your spirit. Shut your ears to gossip, complaint, and fear-filled news. Guard the gates of your mind as a king guards the treasury. The faith-filled life is not without challenges, but every challenge is simply another stage for demonstration. When a need arises, it is your cue to prove the law again. When opposition comes, it is the sign that you are moving in the right direction. When delay lingers, it is the deepening of your root system before the great harvest. There is a rhythm to faith. Speak, believe, act, receive, give thanks, and speak again. It is a holy cycle that once established, becomes your natural way of living. You will find yourself less concerned with when or how things will come, and more occupied with the joy of knowing they must come. This is when faith becomes not an effort, but a state of being. Your vault is not filled by accident. It is filled by the constant application of this law. Faith is the drawing power. The word is the shaping power. Together they form the mold into which divine substance flows. If you have ever used a magnet to pull iron filings into a shape, you have seen this truth in miniature. Faith is the magnet, the word is the pattern, and the substance is obedient to both. As you master this, you will find that what once took months may take days, and what took days may take hours. For the law is exact, and once your consciousness is fully aligned, the outer rearrangement happens quickly. This is why some experience what the world calls overnight success. It was not overnight, but the result of a faith that had already completed the inner work. Let this be your decree now. My faith is unshakable, my word is creative, my supply is unlimited. I draw to myself all that is mine by divine right. It appears now in perfect ways. Speak it until it sings in your spirit. Speak it until the outer matches the inner. Speak it until you no longer question, for the moment you stop questioning, the manifestation is at hand. And when it arrives, and it will, lift your voice in gratitude. Give freely, for giving is the proof that you trust the source. As you give, you declare that the vault can never be emptied, and heaven rushes to refill it. This is the rhythm of the prosperous life, faith to receive, gratitude to keep, generosity to expand. Child of God, you have now heard the law and the method. Do not let it be mere hearing. Let it be doing. Begin now. Speak as if your vault is already full. Believe as if the wealth is already in your hand. Act as if the abundance is already your environment, for in truth, it is, and the moment you align with it, you will see it. If this truth has burned in your heart, if you feel the seed of faith growing even now, nurture it, speak it, share it. Let others hear it from your lips, for the word multiplies when it is given, and as you do, you will find your own vault filling faster than you dreamed. Subscribe to this message, like it, share it, not as a mere act of support, but as a declaration that you are in agreement with abundance. And declare aloud with me now, my vault is open, my faith is full, my supply is endless, and I receive now. Vision is the womb of creation. Without vision, the word you speak is like an arrow without a target, a seed scattered without soil. Where there is no vision, the people perish, said the ancient text, for vision is the pattern to which the unseen substance conforms. Vision is the photograph placed in the developing tray of faith. Without it, there is nothing for the light to bring forth. Every work of man that has endured began first as a vision in the mind of one who believed. Before the pyramids pierced the desert sky, they rose in the minds of their builders. Before Edison's bulb shattered the darkness, its glow burned within his imagination. Before Andrew Carnegie's steel spanned rivers and climbed into the clouds, he saw it, clear and unshakable, in his inner world. The vault you desire, overflowing with supply, must first exist in your inner chamber before it can appear in your outer room. If you cannot see it within, you cannot hold it without. The eyes of the flesh report what is, the eyes of the spirit reveal what shall be. Vision is not fantasy, it is the divine blueprint. Fantasy drifts without anchor, changing with the wind of mood. Vision is fixed, steady, and specific, held in place by faith and spoken into being by the word. You are made in the image and likeness of the Creator, and the Creator works always from the end to the beginning. God saw the light before he said, "Let there be light." He saw man before forming him from the dust. He saw the earth finished before he called it forth from the void. So must you see your end complete before you speak it into time. Do not say, "I will have wealth someday." See yourself in the environment of wealth now. Walk through the home in your spirit. Run your fingers over the polished table. Hear the sound of laughter in the dining room. Step into the shop or office of your dream and feel the air. Hear the hum of business, sense the fragrance of success. Take your mind there so completely that the outer must conform. Walt Disney walked the empty swampland of Florida and saw castles and parades where others saw mosquitoes and mud. He said, "If you can dream it, you can do it." But his dreaming was not idle. It was vision. He could describe the streets, the rides, the smells, the music before a single brick was laid. And so it came to pass. The power of vision lies not only in seeing, but in seeing with feeling. A dry picture in the mind has little force. A vision alive with emotion becomes a magnet for manifestation. Feel the security of the vault overflowing. Feel the relief of every bill paid before it arrives. Feel the thrill of opportunities knocking at your door daily. When the vision is saturated with feeling, the subconscious accepts it as real, and the law begins moving all that is necessary into place. But beware of a divided vision. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. If you spend your morning envisioning abundance, but your evening picturing lack, you are building one wall while tearing down another. Hold the vision steady until it takes root. Think of it as planting a seed. Once planted, you do not dig it up to check its progress. You water it, protect it, and let time and law do their work. Vision is selective. You cannot hold the image of poverty and the image of wealth in the same frame. Choose the picture you will hang in the gallery of your mind, for it will be the exhibit your life displays. Many say, "I do not want to be poor," yet spend their thought and speech painting pictures of poverty. The universe does not hear the word "not." It hears the picture, the feeling, the vibration. Paint only what you desire to live. Think of Michelangelo, who when asked how he carved David replied, "I simply removed everything that was not David." Vision is the art of removing from your inner sight everything that does not belong to your desired reality. If fear intrudes, cast it out. If doubt whispers, silence it with a stronger word. If the old picture of lack tries to reappear, replace it instantly with the vision of plenty. And vision must be written. Write the vision, and make it plain. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. Take the time to write in detail the life you see. Describe your surroundings, your work, your relationships, your finances, your health. Write it as if it were already here. Read it aloud until it becomes more real to you than your present conditions. This is not self-deception, it is self-direction. Thomas Troward taught that the law of growth requires a definite image. The formless cannot move into form without a pattern. The pattern is your vision. Without it, divine substance remains unshaped, like clay left untouched on the potter's wheel. When you hold the vision steadily, substance begins to take that shape. People, resources, and circumstances are drawn to you, not by chance, but by the magnetic pull of the vision you carry. Even Carl Jung, from a psychological standpoint, recognized that the inner image directs the outer experience. What is held in the unconscious eventually rises into conscious reality. The mystic calls it vision, the scientist calls it visualization, the law calls it causation. The name matters little, the effect is the same. Now let us speak directly of the vault. In your inner chamber, construct it in detail. See its walls strong and gleaming, its shelves and compartments brimming with gold, silver, currency, deeds, and treasures of every kind. See it so vividly that you could draw it from memory. See yourself penning its door without effort, for there is no lock to the rightful heir. See yourself withdrawing from it freely, giving and spending with joy, knowing it replenishes itself endlessly. This inner vault is the prototype. The outer vault will follow its pattern. Do not be concerned with how it will come. Vision deals with the what, not the how. The how is the business of divine intelligence, which moves in ways past finding out. Your task is to hold the image steady, to speak it with faith, to act in harmony with it. The rest is done for you, through you, around you. If doubt comes, and it will try, answer it with the vision. If a bill arrives and the old fear rises, close your eyes and walk into your inner vault. See the abundance there, feel the joy of paying easily, and let that image flood your being before you act. When others speak of scarcity, turn inward and rehearse your picture of plenty. The outer world cannot dictate your inner vision unless you yield to it. Do not let your vision be borrowed or second-hand. See for yourself, not through another's eyes. If your neighbor's idea of wealth is not yours, bless them and keep your own blueprint. Your vision must be personal, authentic, and aligned with your divine purpose. Only then will it carry the power to manifest fully. Vision is not idle daydreaming, it is disciplined seeing. The artist sketches, the architect drafts, the composer writes notes, and all these are physical echoes of an inner work. Your work is to be the artist, architect, and composer of your life. Design it within, and the materials will gather without, and vision must be tended daily. Just as the Israelites were to gather manna fresh each morning, you must refresh your vision each day. Spend time in the quiet, closing your eyes to the world, opening them in the spirit, and walking again through the life you are building. Let it be as familiar to you as your current surroundings. In time, it will replace them. Do not neglect to pair vision with gratitude. As you see the life you desire, give thanks for it now. Gratitude declares that it already belongs to you, and it multiplies the power of your seeing. Say, I am so grateful for my overflowing vault, for my debt-free life, for the constant flow of income, for the opportunities that seek me daily. This thanksgiving charges the vision with joy, and joy is a creative force. The vision you hold today is the prophecy of your tomorrow. Guard it as you would a precious jewel. Do not cast it before those who trample it with disbelief. Share it only with those who will water it with faith. For a vision spoken into ears of doubt is like a seed sown on rocky soil. As you live in your vision, you will find your actions aligning with it without strain. You will make choices that match your inner picture. You will walk away from what does not belong, and move toward what does. Doors will open that you did not knock on, for your vision has gone ahead of you to prepare the way. This is the way of the Creator. See it, speak it, believe it, live it. When your vision is clear, your faith unshakable, and your word creative, nothing can withhold the manifestation. The vault will appear in your experience as surely as the dawn follows the night. And when it does, remember the source. Give thanks, give generously, and keep visioning higher. For the law of vision is endless. There is always more to see, more to become, more to bring forth. You are an eternal creator, and your canvas is infinite. So now, child of God, close your eyes and see. Walk through the halls of your wealth. Touch the treasures of your vault. Breathe the air of your abundance. Hold it, feel it, claim it. And when you open your eyes, speak it into the day with the authority of the air you are. If this vision has stirred your spirit, if it has painted in your soul a picture you cannot forget, then align with it now. Speak it, share it, live it, and seal your agreement by subscribing, liking, and declaring aloud with me. My vision is clear, my vault is full, my manifestation is here. Vision without action is like a blueprint locked in a drawer, perfect in design but unbuilt in the world. Action without vision is like building without a plan, motion without meaning, effort without reward. But when vision and action join hands, heaven and earth meet, and manifestation walks in. In the order of creation, first comes the word, then the vision, then the action. The word sets the intention, the vision shapes the form, and the action calls it into physical being. Without this third step, the chain is broken. Right action is not frantic effort. It is not doing something for the sake of doing. It is the deliberate, timely, inspired step that bridges the inner and the outer. There is a world of difference between motion and progress. The hummingbird flaps its wings all day, yet remains in the same spot. The eagle spreads its wings at the right current and soars miles without strain. The ancients knew this law. The Israelites did not march aimlessly. They moved when the pillar of cloud lifted and led them forward. Noah did not start building the ark until the command was given, and then he acted according to the exact pattern shown him. Right action flows from divine direction, and divine direction is received in the stillness of faith. The law of preparation. Right action begins with preparation. Prepare ye the way of the Lord is not mere poetry. It is instruction. If you have envisioned a vault overflowing with abundance, begin making room for it now. Clear the clutter of old lack thinking in your mind and in your physical surroundings. Pay a small bill with the same joy you will feel paying a large one. Dress your environment for life you are calling forth. If your vision is of a new business, start by organizing the tools you will need, learning the skills required, or setting aside a corner of your home as the seed of your future office. If your vision is of a loving marriage, begin cultivating love, kindness, and joy in your present interactions. You cannot draw into your life what you are not already embodying in seed form. The law of obedience. Right action is often inconvenient to the old self. It may ask you to step where you have never stepped, speak where you have been silent, give where you have clung. Obedience to the inner prompting is the price of the miracle. When the Spirit says, call this person, apply for this position, give this gift, or release this possession, do not delay. The prompting is the bridge, and bridges do not wait forever. Florence Scovel Shinn often said, never violate a hunch. Your hunch is the voice of the divine engineer, giving you the next plank in your bridge. Disobey it, and the bridge remains unfinished. Obey it, and you find yourself stepping onto solid ground where there was nothing before. The law of immediate movement. Right action is often small, deceptively so. It may not look like the final step to your vault, but it opens the path. The widow's oil began to multiply only after she started pouring. The loaves and fishes fed thousands only after they were blessed and broken. Action releases the stored energy of vision into the field of manifestation. Do not wait for all conditions to be perfect before you act. The conditions become perfect because you act. Gideon went into battle with only 300 men against thousands, and his victory was secured by obedience, not by the numbers. The law of correspondence. Right action must be in harmony with your vision. If your vision is of wealth, your actions must reflect wealth thinking, not poverty fear. You cannot sign. The invisible support. Know this. When you step onto the bridge of right action, unseen forces move to meet you. Helpers appear, resources arrive, doors swing open, paths clear. It may look like coincidence, but it is providence. You are not walking alone. You are walking with the host of heaven, who delights in the fulfillment of your vision. Right action is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is a phone call, a letter, a prayer, a simple yes or no. But each act, when aligned with your vision, is a plank in the bridge, and plank by plank, you move from seeing to holding, from inner vault to outer vault. So beloved, let this be your decree. I see the vision, I take the step, I cross the bridge, my vault is here. Step now, do not wait. The vault is not in some far-off tomorrow, it is in the act you take today. Beloved, there comes a moment when the invisible becomes visible, when what was once only in your heart and in your decree stands before you in the tangible light of day. That moment is the opening of the vault. It is not magic. It is the inevitable harvest of the seed sown, the word spoken, the vision held, and the right action taken. The vault does not open by human struggle. It opens by divine alignment. When your word is in harmony with God's word, when your faith refuses to bow to appearances, when your action is born of divine prompting, the vault swings wide as if it had been waiting for you all along. The law of fulfillment. Fulfillment is not an accident. It is the completion of a divine circuit. Your vault was never locked to keep you out. It was kept until the appointed hour, when your vibration matched the vibration of what you asked for. Scripture says, "At the appointed time I will return unto thee, according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son." This is the pattern: promise, preparation, fulfillment. When the vault opens, there is no mistaking it. It is not a trickle of provision, but a flood. It is the pressed down, shaken together, and running over measure poured into your lap. The law of overflow. Heaven's supply does not arrive in exact portions. It arrives in overflow. The 5 loaves and 2 fishes did not merely feed the crowd. 12 baskets of fragments remained. The wine at Cana did not just fill the cups. It filled them with the best wine, after the lesser had run out. Overflow is God's signature. It is the mark that you have entered the flow of divine substance, where your needs are met and exceeded. Your vault is not just for you, it spills over to bless others. The law of circulation. Now that the vault is open, you must understand the law that keeps it open: circulation. Wealth is like blood in the body, it must move to bring life. Hoard it, and it stagnates. Release it in alignment, and it multiplies. Give from your vault with wisdom and joy. Sow into fertile soil, into lives, causes, and works that carry the vibration of truth and love. The more you circulate, the more you demonstrate trust in the source, and the source delights to send more. The law of continuous alignment. The vault opens in a moment, but staying in the flow is a practice. Daily alignment is the key. Keep your word clean. Speak life, speak abundance, speak health. Guard your vision. Do not let fear redraw the picture. Keep your actions tuned. Follow each prompting, no matter how small. This is not striving, it is abiding. Abiding in the vibration of the vault is resting in the truth that you and the vault are one in the mind of God. The law of gratitude magnified. Gratitude is the oil that keeps the hinges of the vault swinging smoothly. A grateful heart multiplies blessings. Jesus gave thanks before the loaves multiplied, not after. Gratitude in advance is the proof of faith. Each morning, thank God for the vault as if it is already overflowing, because in truth, it is. Each evening, thank God for every sign, every gift, every resource that passed through your hands that day. The power of yielding. Yielding is not surrender to defeat, it is surrender to God. When you yield to the higher will, you step into a current that carries you beyond obstacles. Like a skilled sailor, you use the wind as it comes, adjusting your sails rather than cursing the storm. Yielding says, I will not meet force with force, I will meet it with faith. Thomas Troward wrote that the spirit operates by growth, not by struggle. The oak does not wrestle with the acorn shell, it simply outgrows it. Non-resistance in wealth. In the matter of supply, non-resistance means letting go of the how. The channel is God's business. The asking and the believing are yours. Many block their own vault by dictating the method. It must come through this job, this client, this transaction. But the infinite is not limited to your map. If one door closes, release it with a blessing. Do not pound on it in frustration. The knocking only deafens you to the sound of the new door swinging open. I recall a woman who lost a lucrative contract. She was tempted to panic, but instead she blessed the departure, declaring, "This or something better now comes to me." Within weeks, she received an offer from an entirely different source, with double the pay and half the work. She had learned the art of non-resistance. The Jesus way. When Peter struck the servant with his sword in Gethsemane, Jesus told him, "Put up thy sword into the sheath." The kingdom is not advanced by force of arms, nor is your vault unlocked by force of will. The kingdom, and the vault, yield to faith, spoken word, and divine timing. Non-resistance does not mean you do nothing. It means you act from guidance, not from reaction. You move with precision, not compulsion. You release the need to control, and in that release, you discover true authority. The alchemy of blessing. Bless every closed door, every delayed answer, very apparent setback. Bless it, for it is only a servant of your good in disguise. Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery, and yet he told them years later, "Ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good." Non-resistance is the alchemy that turns betrayal into promotion, delay into preparation, loss into multiplication. Dropping the rope. When you drop the rope of resistance, the tug of war ends instantly. The enemy falls backward, not because you conquered him in combat, but because you refused to give him your energy. The same is true of lack. Stop wrestling with unpaid bills. Stop magnifying the price tags. Stop debating the reports of recession. Let go and say with the psalmist, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." The open hand. Non-resistance is like an open hand. A clenched fist can neither receive nor give. When your hand is open, it is both a vessel and a channel. The moment you unclench from fear, new ideas, new opportunities, and new channels appear. They were there all along, but your grip on the old blinded you to the new. The silence that wins battles. Sometimes non-resistance takes the form of silence, not the silence of weakness, but the silence of mastery. You do not need to justify your wealth to the critic, nor explain your faith to the scoffer. Your results will speak for you. Gandhi, inspired by the Sermon on the Mount, called it nonviolent resistance. Yet in the spirit, we may simply call it resting in the finished work. The battle is already won. You are simply walking to the victory celebration. Flowing around the stone, picture your desire as a river heading toward the ocean. Along the way, a boulder appears. Resistance says, push it, break it, blast it away. Non-resistance says, flow around it. The river reaches the ocean all the same, without injury, without exhaustion, without delay. Your supply will reach you in perfect form if you stop damming the current with fear and control. The paradox of power. Here is the great paradox. The less you strive, the more you receive. The vault is not opened by frantic shaking, but by the gentle turning of the key. That key is faith without fear, action without anxiety, giving without grasping. Beloved, hear me. The universe is for you, not against you. The vault is not guarded by enemies, but by angels waiting for you to align. Stop pushing, start allowing. Release the fight, and watch the floodgates swing wide. The current is already moving in your favor. Step into it. Flow with it. Let it carry you into the vast, unending sea of provision. And so I say, I release all resistance. I flow in divine ease. I let the vault of heaven open without force, and I live in the effortless abundance of God. If this truth has dissolved the knots in your soul, then share it, speak it, and let it transform your world. And remember, subscribe to this channel, like this video, and keep your faith anchored in ease, for the final part of this revelation is yet to come. Beloved, the promise of God is not a distant dream. It is not locked in some far-off heaven, nor buried in a tomb of yesterday. It is now. Manifestation is the visible evidence of the invisible decree. It is when the vault swings open, not with a creak, but with a rush, as if it had been waiting all this time for your faith to arrive. When God said, "Let there be light," he did not wait 1,000 years to see the sun. The word and the thing were one. The moment the word went forth, the light existed. It is only the human mind, bound by the illusion of time, that imagines delay. Manifestation is the natural result of alignment. It is not an event you must chase, but a state you must embody. When the soil, the seed, and the sun are in harmony, growth is inevitable. When thought, word, and belief are one, the vault must yield. The invisible stage, all may. Manifestation begins in the unseen. Before the cathedral stands, the architect sees it. Before the harvest waves in the field, the farmer feels the seed in his hand. The invisible stage is not empty. It is crowded with the forms of things to come. Your desire is not something you must pull from the outside world. It is already in your possession in the realm of spirit. When you speak it in faith, you stamp it with divine authority and call it forth into view. The law of instant reception. The Master taught, "What things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them." Notice, not believe when you see, but believe when you pray. The receiving happens in the instant of faith. The having appears in the realm of sight. Faith is the title deed to the property of your desire. Once the deed is in your hand, you are the owner, even if you have not yet stepped into the house. The atmosphere of fulfillment, manifestation does not grow in the soil of longing, but in the soil of knowing. Stop wanting wealth. Begin walking in it. Stop wishing for opportunity. Begin speaking as one who already stands in the open door. A woman came to me once, desperate for money to pay her rent. She said, "I need a miracle by the 1st of the month." I told her, "Then live today as if it is already done. Buy yourself a single beautiful flower as a token of your abundance." She obeyed, and within days, a client appeared out of nowhere, paying her in full. The vault had been waiting for her shift in atmosphere. The danger of looking back. When the children of Israel left Egypt, God told them not to return. Yet many in spirit look back at the bondage they have left. They speak of how things used to be. They gaze at the empty nets instead of the miraculous catch to come. Lot's wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt, frozen in the posture of her own hesitation. Looking back in fear solidifies your lack. Looking forward in faith multiplies your supply. Living in the picture. Whatever you can hold in your inner vision, you can hold in your hands, but you must live in the picture as if it is your present home. If you see yourself as wealthy, speak as the wealthy do, give as the wealthy give. Walk with the quiet confidence of one who knows the vault is open. Christian D. Larson wrote, "Act as if you are and you will be, not in pretense, but in consciousness." The overflow principle. When manifestation begins, it rarely trickles, it overflows. God does not fill your cup to the brim, He runs it over. This is not extravagance, it is His nature. The same God who made 1,000,000 snowflakes when one would do, who filled the sky with stars when a handful would suffice, delights in more than enough. Do not shrink when the overflow comes. Many retreat at the first wave of increase, fearing they cannot hold it. But remember, you are not the vessel, you are the channel. The river does not ask, "Can I handle more water?" It simply lets it pass through. The manifested word in action. When manifestation arrives, it demands stewardship. The vault opens, but what you do with its contents shapes the next cycle. Give freely, manage wisely, invest in the vision God gave you. The wealth that is merely hoarded decays, the wealth that is circulated multiplies. This is the rhythm of the kingdom: seed, harvest, seed again. The silence after the miracle. When the storm ceased on Galilee, the disciples stood in awe. Sometimes, when the vault bursts open, there is a holy stillness. Take time to praise in that stillness. Recognition seals the manifestation. For what you acknowledge, you anchor. From empty to overflowing. Beloved, this journey has brought you from empty wallet to overflowing vault. Not by force, not by chance, but by law. You have spoken the word, walked in faith, held the vision, acted in right timing, yielded in non-resistance. And now, you stand in manifestation. The vault is open. The shelves are full. The coins sing as they pour into your hands. The air around you hums with opportunity. You are no longer a seeker. You are a possessor. So declare with me, I live in the manifestation of every good word I have spoken. I see it. I feel it. I walk in it. My vault is open. My life is overflowing. My cup runneth over. And it is permanent, for it is rooted in the eternal supply of God. And as this revelation settles into your spirit, I charge you, do not hide it. Speak it into your own life, and speak it into the lives of others. Share this truth, that others may know the vault is not locked, it is waiting for their word. If these words have ignited the fire of faith in you, then subscribe to this channel, like this video, and keep speaking your wealth into being. The vault is open. Walk in it.